evening from Sacred Space. I'm making this video because this little handsome boy, I was teasing him this evening about him being the man of the house, and that if I wasn't careful, he was going to take my favourite spot on the couch and take over the remote. And he replied, "Don't be silly, Mama T. I don't have opposable thumbs. I can't take over the remote." But he did, however, take over my favourite spot on the couch. So I've had to move to the left-hand side of the couch where I very rarely sit. Not that it matters or anything, but I just find this whole thing very amusing. So anyway, Beauregard, say hello to the people, Beauregard. Say hello, people. He had a very lovely magical day. Mama T decided around about lunchtime to take him for a coffee at Amanda's kiosk. And while we were sitting there, there were three gentlemen, like one was an acquaintance that I sort of know from going there regularly. But there were two other gentlemen that joined along, and they were both very nice, friendly men. And one of them sat and had a chat to me, and he was very sweet. He said to me, he said, "I live with my 87-year-old mother." And I thought that was a bit unusual because until recently I was friends with a man who lives with his 92-year-old mother. So I thought, here it is with the elderly mothers and sons again. Mothers and sons. But anyway, he was a nice gentleman. And he asked me what kind of breed Beauregard is, which is a complicated answer since Beauregard is part Shih Tzu and part Maltese and part Jack Russell. But he's got the Jack Russell personality and thinks he's the new world leader and that he's taken over the world. Oh, what have I done to my camera? Oops. Are we still filming? I don't know how to get the brightness back. Oh, here we are. Anyway, he thinks he's the new world leader. New world leader, I mean. So he was taking ownership of Amanda's little coffee kiosk. And there was a man with a very big dog. And so Beauregard wanted to eat the very big dog, which really would have been suicidal, quite frankly. So Amanda, who adores Beauregard, put this big sort of barrier in front of him so that he couldn't see the big dog. But the man with the big dog didn't stay, which was very kind, because Bobo was working himself into a little bit of a tizzy. Weren't you, Bobo? So he took over Amanda's coffee kiosk, and that was quite cute. And the gentleman that was sitting with us was quite sweet. And after asking what kind of a dog Beauregard is, and me replying that he was a maniac kind of dog, and Beauregard proving the point, we were all very amused by this. Anyway, that gentleman was very sweet, and he sort of gave Beauregard a bit of a cuddle and a pat, and Beauregard felt very special. And then there was another gentleman sitting, and they were both like very sweet but very simple men, not incredibly bright, but just very very kind. So the other gentleman that was sitting there, I've seen him before, and he sort of looks at me a bit, a bit in awe, because I have that charisma sometimes. But today, the charisma, the pheromones, the joie de vivre, the charmingness was not with Mama T. No. Oh, no. It was with the Bobo. So the other gentleman looks at Bobo, and Bobo looks at the other gentleman. Oh, where are your growlies? Oh, it's camera too close to your face. Sorry, he doesn't like paparazzi. So the other gentleman was looking, and then Bobo decided to go over to him. So I had to stand up from where I was sitting, because I always sit at the little back table, keeping as far away from other dogs as possible. And so I stood up, and he sauntered over to the other gentleman number 2, because I think gentleman number 1 had left by that point. So Bobo suitor number 2 bends down and like goes to kiss Bobo. Yes, Bobo was into kissing strange men today. Bobo was feeling all the puppy loves. So I kind of freaked out because I thought Bobo might kiss him back, you know, with the tongue and everything, and that would be awkward. But you can't do anything about doggies kissing with their tongue because they just do it naturally, don't you? It's all very, very French, isn't it? Beauregard. Beauregard, ma petite chienne. Anyway, ma petite chienne just soaked up all the love from gentleman number 2 as well. And then I sort of dragged him back to my seat and finished off my coffee. And then quite abruptly I decided it was time to go home because it was nearly closing time for Amanda. So it was all very sweet. And I said goodbye to Amanda. I got inspired to go down there today specifically, and I thought, what's the rush? But when I got there, she said she's closing from the 23rd of May and she's going away for 6 weeks. And I said, oh, you're going to Greece? And she said, how did you know that? And I said, I'm a highly intelligent, perceptive woman with great emotional intelligence. I said, where else would you go except go to Greece? She said, yes, I'm going back to Greece with my mummy who's 80 and wants to see her family. So I thought that was quite lovely, but I told her that she was closed last week or the week before, haven't been for a week. I said, Bobo was quite devastated when we got there a week and a half ago to discover she was closed. I said he just stood there looking at the empty van and just walked off in dismay. She thought that was delightful. But it happens to be true, isn't it, Beauregard? You really love Auntie Amanda. You do. You love her. She is a lovely lady, isn't she? You love Amanda. Look how he looks when I say her name. So anyway, Bobo, Le Beauregard, had not one, but 2 gentlemen suitors today. And I would be concerned, but they were such sweet men. And then the second gentleman said that he misses having pets because he lives in a tiny apartment and he's not allowed pets. And he was quite sad. And he was the one that tried to kiss you, Beauregard. Oh my goodness, kisses. My goodness. So anyway, so we came home from that lovely little interlude. I was only there half an hour. And came home and I sat in my little workroom. And then it was time for my debrief with my psychiatrist. So he rang and we had our debrief via telehealth, which was very, very nice and very pleasant, very convenient. And we talked about, you know, the current paradigm and how I keep busy with making jewellery and feel like I'm spinning on a dime going nowhere, but, you know, it gives me hope for the future and something to do. And then our session ended, because we only have like, 20-minute, 30-minute session. He said, I've got to go in overtime. But he was so sweet too. He said, it'll be so nice when you can come to the clinic and we can see. It'll be nice when you can come to the clinic, he says, so I can see Bobo face to face. And I started to laugh. I thought, that's the 3rd man today who's obsessed with seeing our little Beauregard. So I said to him, I said, when we come to the clinic, I said, you know what will happen? I said, you're one of Beauregard's favourite persons. So what will happen is he will scream in a really, really high pitch, which means he's happy to see you. And he said, I can't wait. He said, I just would love to see that. But he's seen it before, but it has been a long time since I've seen my doctor in person. So, yeah. So anyway, what was funny was the segueing to wanting to see Beauregard and more than wanting to see the Mama T. Yes, you were very popular today, Beauregard. So anyway, the other thing that happened was after I left the coffee shop, before I had my appointment with my doctor, because that happened just as I got home, thank goodness, I went to pick up an order of like jewellery making bits and pieces, tools that I had ordered. And so I went to that business and picked up my order, and I went to tie Beauregard to their front fence because I knew if I go into the office without him, that he will scream. So I tried to tie him as far away from the office as I possibly could. So it was a good 30 metres away from their front door, And as soon as I proceeded to walk away, he started his high-pitched scream. Not his high-pitched scream of happiness when he sees people. This is more of a sounds like an infant child screaming. It's like a tantrum. It's like a, and it's quite high-pitched and scary. So anyway, and I was like, oh dear God, please don't scream, Beauregard. I'm only walking into the shop to pick something up and I'll be back. But anyway, the people, they do it. It's their warehouse where they do a lot of packing and of orders and everything. And so there was a young man and a young woman. So they came out and they said, no, look, don't worry. Bring them into the office. They said, we bring all our fur babies in. And I said, oh, I'm just so sorry. I said, I wanted to keep him tied up. But I said, he will not be separated from me for even 5 minutes when we're out. He just puts on a turn. I said, he thinks he's taking over the world. Before you know it, he'll be taking over your business and taking over all your stock and driving everyone mad. And they were laughing too. I said, he's so happy. I said, he's so happy that Mummy makes jewellery now as a distraction. And anyway, they were laughing too. And another couple of ladies came out and fussed over him. So he got lots of love today. It was just a beautiful love energy today, but the main focus of that love energy was all on little Beauregard. Monsieur Beauregard, to you. So anyway, it was very gorgeous. And anyway, and then of course this evening when I was making his dinner, I joked that next thing he'll be taking over the couch and flicking the remote and going, where's my dinner? Oh, and he must have been really hungry because I cooked him a home-cooked meal for the first time in about a week. He's been living on tin food. And so I made him a mince with pasta and zucchini and carrots and peas and corn. And he doesn't normally like peas and corn all that much. Well, no sooner I put the meal down, it was still quite warm, I was busying myself with something else. Oh, that's right, I started to do some dishes. And look, I only did a few dishes, and I looked down, and Monsieur Lebeau had wolfed like a wild wolf pack. He had wolfed down all his dinner. Look, he's been particularly handsome today because I bathed him 2 days ago, and maybe that added to his charisma, because cleanliness is next to dogliness, Beauregard. Yes, he's been a grotty dog for quite some time. So anyway, he had a bath and he had a brush yesterday, and he's looking very handsome. But look, he's just so bossy. Look, I can't have the phone in his face. What does that mean? Get out of my face. Look, the paparazzi want to talk to Beauregard. We want to know what the new world leader has to say about the state of affairs on planet Earth. Yeah, I think the same too. So anyway, that's my story about Beauregard and the loveliness. And it's quite delightful. It was quite delightful. Yes. So have a good evening from Sacred Space. Bye for now. Say goodbye to the people, Beauregard. Say goodbye to the people. He's like, look, I'm on the couch and I'm just owning everything. What do you want from me, really? Good night.